Alright, something a little different today. I got this Jitterbug, and I've probably had it for over 50 years. I don't remember where I got it or if I bought it or something. It's funny because I was just looking at it. It's got a dent in the front here. I don't know if you can see that because of the reflections. It's got a pretty big dent, you know? So it must have fell sometime and landed there. I don't know how you could dent that solid aluminum. But anyway, let's get back to business here. Alright, what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to rebuild this thing, but replace the air valve in there, because you can see the handle here, the on-off switch. It doesn't work. The machine works, but it just stays running. And they sell a kit for that to rebuild it, but this is an Ingersall Rand. And if it focuses, there you go. It's a model 312. And the part that I need, I can't seem to get anywhere. But the newer models, which is almost identical except for that valve, and they sell a assembly kit for the valve on the newer ones, but it's a 312A, and it's sort of an improvement because I guess this is what happened to them. You know, back in the day, when the valve, all it was a piece of rubber or a neoprene or something. And when it got old and gummy, it would stick down there. And all it was a spring that kept pushing it up and down that closed the air hole. And the new piece here is a new stem with an O-ring on it. And I guess you just can keep placing the O-ring. But the diameters of the plunger were different, so I sort of had to modify it, but we'll get into that when we get there. But these are pretty tricky to get apart if you don't know how. But if you know how, they're relatively simple. So, and also this is an Ingersall Rand. You know, these are top of the line back in the day, and you know, they still make the same model, and they also make it for a lot of other companies. And here's an old one, and it's identical. And I just replaced the valve on this one, and this one runs good and everything. And the funny thing is this is Central Pneumatic, and everybody knows that's Harbor Freight. But back in the day, back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, when Harbor Freight first came around, I guess the 70s, they were just a mail order company, and they actually just rebranded stuff and sold it at a cheaper price, and that's what happened here. So these are identical, and I don't know what this one went for, but I'm sure it went a lot cheaper than the Ingersall brand, the Ingersall Rand brand. But like I say, they're identical in every way. So yeah, back in the day, you'd get a Harbor Freight flyer in the mail, Christ, 2-3 times a week sometimes, and then they'd ship it to you from Camarillo, California. So same machine, but then I think Mac also sells the same one, and you know, maybe Blue Point, I'm not sure, but anyway, they're all the same, identical. But here's the kit we're going to put in there. So let me put you on a tripod, and we'll start taking this thing apart, and I'll show you how to take it apart. Alright, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the kit was only 16 bucks. So if you have one of these machines, I think back in the day they sold about 300 bucks. But they're worth repairing. And like I say, I already fixed this one. And this one here works. But it doesn't shut off. You know, this was supposed to do, you know. So that's what we wanted to get to do. Alright, let me see what tools we need here. Alright, gonna need a good Phillips head, a good flathead, some American Allen wrenches, and a razor blade will be good, and you'll see why we need that. And also a drift pin. I think a 1/8 drift pin, or smaller. I'll tell you. Let me go get one, and I'll tell you exactly what size. Alright, yeah, it's a 1/8 inch drift pin. So, and a hammer, a little hammer. Doesn't have to be big. Just Just a little baby hammer. All right, let me get a seat and get comfortable and get into this. All right, you guys still with me? All right, first, oh, you know what? Let me go get something, put all these parts in. I'll be back. Sorry about that. I'll be right back. All right, yeah, I like to put the parts in a little plastic cup here so we don't lose them. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is take off this little bumper. All right, you say, why are you gonna do that? It just makes things a whole lot easier. Matter of fact, one of the reasons you're doing that is because there's a screw here that you're gonna have to get to, and you can't get a straight screwdriver on there. So with that bumper out of the way, it's only 4 screws, and it's easier just to take it out, take it apart, take it off. Sometimes I'm not looking at you, so I don't know if you're in frame or you're in focus, so just leave a nasty comment if I'm not. We'll try and do better. Alright, so you can just get this out of the way. Alright. Now, you gotta take the pad off the bottom here, alright? Not to get it out of the way, but you have to. And that's just four screws in the bottom. I'm doing this in real time, so here we go. Them screws will stay there if you don't mess with that. So just put that off to the side. All right, now here's the tricky part. If you don't know, you got to take this plate off of here. But if you try and unscrew it, this screw here, then it just turns the whole machine, and you'll never get that off. So what you actually have to do is, there's a hole in the side here, and you're going to want to turn that. Got a magnetic screwdriver here, so it's making things tough. You want to turn that till you come across as a, can you see that? Little Allen screw in there. And then you're going to want to take that out. But you're not going to want to take it out all the way. Let me see what size it is, and I'll tell you. Right, it's not an 1/8, I can tell you that. It's 9/64. All right. So you're gonna want to take that out, but not all the way out. You leave it till it's flush with the outside there, and then that'll actually hold you. It's a counterweight in there, that'll hold you in place. So, oh, that wasn't bad at all. Thought that was going to be tight. So you take that off, and don't lose your little lock washer there. You're going to have to put that back in. So that should come right off. Alright, here we go. Now, you do have to take this counterbalance off, so you continue taking your screw out with your Allen wrench here. It's a long one. And just put that in there, and then it should come right out. Alright. I'm going to get a couple screwdrivers so you can pull it out evenly. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, I just went to get a couple little screwdrivers here. This is just a push fit on here, but it's a lot easier to put a couple screwdrivers in there and just ease it out. But when you take stuff apart like this, you always make note. Like here's the counterweight, the big heavy part of the weight is towards the hole, and you can't make that mistake because that's where the screw goes in. But what you can make a mistake, and it probably don't make a difference, I'm not sure, but see where the lobe is on here? That's also towards here. So, like I say, always make note of when you take things apart. Alright, like I say, there you go. Just have to come right out. You see now that you got one screw hole on this, but this here has a through hole, so you could make a mistake and put that either way. But like I say, it might not make a difference. So alright, what we're going to do now is we'll take, let me see, okay, you don't have to take them apart. These little rubber feet, you don't have to take them apart. You have to take these 4 screws out here. These are Allen screws. See, there was a little moisture here at one time. Alright, and then Allen screws. Huh. Okay. Them Allen screws are a little bigger. They're 5/32. Alright, here you go. They weren't tight. Yeah, they're not tight at all. There you go, that one's a little tight. It's real time, we're dealing in real time here. Alright, now here you really don't have to make note because you'll know when you try to put them back in. But the two in the back towards the air hole are long, and the 2 in the front are short. But like I say, you really can't make that mistake. Alright. You guys still with me? Alright, let me see that. Let me show you that. That's a small one. We'll throw these all in the bucket so we don't lose them. Unless we knock the bucket over, then we lose everything. Alright, now here's where the... Oh wow. Remember I told you you're going to need a razor blade? Looks like we're not going to need one. That was to save the gasket. There's a paper gasket here. It looks like we might not have to take it off, so... Alright. Before we go any further, we really don't have to. This here just twists out. And that's where your spring is. Okay. Okay, you know what else I noticed here? This is the muffler. And the muffler had like foam stuck in here. And it looks like this foam is all deteriorated, so we're going to clear this out. Interesting. There's supposed to be a little rubber, sort of like a rubber ball on there. And that is supposed to cover the hole in there. But what the problem is with this is that inside there you can't really see it. But the plunger looks to be frozen. So I'm going to put this off to the side for now. And I'm going to take the handle off here. That's what these this drift pin and hammer was for. You guys in focus here? There's 2 of them. Alright. That's on the inside there, so don't lose that. Okay. Now our handle should come off. And like I say, don't lose your 2 little roll pins. I think they call them roll pins. Alright. That plunger's frozen solid. Let me clean this up, and I think I'm going to take this gasket off. That's where, just to get it out of the way so we don't lose it. And I am going to reuse it because I don't have one. So, looks like it's coming off. Looks like it's hanging up right here. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to reuse that. If I had a new one, I would put a new one in there, but we don't have one, so. Alright, let me clean this up and then we'll turn these back on. So anyways, I gotta clean all this up. Alright, see you in a couple. Alright, yeah, before I clean this, I was gonna take this out. This here is just supposed to pull out, and it's stuck. So, plus it's not turning as smooth as it should. You know, that's where your veins are in it that create the air and the wind. So, I'm going to juice that up and let it sit for a little bit. But before we do that, since I'm going to clean everything up, got to take this brass pin out the side, and these little spring clips, circlips, or whatever. Sometimes they're a pain in the balls to get off, so I'm gonna get them off however you can. Sometimes you get a razor blade under there, and you know, or a pick behind it and pull it up. But anyway, I'm not going to do that on camera. But the best bet is just to tap it to one side. That way you have a little place so you can get a small thin screwdriver under there, you know, to pop it up. But I will take his pin out. I think his pin will come out either the top or the bottom. Here we go, there's my little drift. We're not going to reuse this, we're going to reuse the new one. So, that's what was sticking. So we're going to have to clean all that out inside there and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pin out here, clean out in there, and like I said, I'm going to try and get this out so I can take this apart and clean it out. That wasn't part of the deal here, but I might as well do that since I got it apart. Alright, we'll see you in a few. Alright, I was able to get a small screwdriver in behind here. Like I say, even on the new ones, they give you a regular circlip, makes it a lot easier. So I got the one ear up, got my finger on it so it don't go across the garage. And you know, glad we only have to take one off, right? Alright, put that in there, and then this should come right out. Don't matter which side you take out, it'll go in either way. Need something to hold that up. Alright, once you can grab it. Look at the old ones here are made of brass. They do have O-rings on there, and the new kit does come with O-rings. Also on the new kit, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll try and get up close here. Look how big that hole is. The new ones don't have a big hole like that, so I'm going to reuse this brass one. Gives you more horsepower. Alright. Let me try and get this bitch out. I'm going to have to soak that with some Kroil. So I'm going to soak that and go have some dinner, and then we'll come back after dinner. Alright, hopefully that'll come out. Alright, yeah, I was able to get out of there. It wasn't easy. I mean, it has a lot of surface rust on here. Like I said, I don't know where I got this from. I know I don't keep my tools like this. So maybe it was given to me by an older body man or somebody. But anyway, I'm going to take this apart. There's not much to this. The top and the bottom covers are the same, but you do have an O-ring here. Don't lose that because that's a special O-ring. You know, I got metric and I got regular O-rings, and I don't have that size. So that's like a bastard size or whatever it is. The one I don't have. So don't lose that O-ring. That one there still has a little life in it. Yeah, what I was able to do was I taped up the shaft here and then put some vice grips on it, and while it was in there, you know, I was able to tap it out this way. So you don't want to damage that shaft and everything, so I put plenty of tape on there, and it didn't look like it cut through, so we're okay. Alright, this here, matter of fact, this here is held on with one of them circlips. I don't think I have a screwdriver here small enough. This might be here. That should just pop out. If you get the right size screwdriver. Whoops. I don't know where that went, but we'll find it. Alright, and then these things should come right apart. Alright. Let me find that circlip. That's a standard circlip, so we should be able to find it anywhere if we did lose it. But, alright, we're going to turn these back on after we clean this up. Alright, I took this apart, and this is the part that had the O-ring on there. We still didn't find it. But anyway, I'm looking at this, and it's actually put together wrong. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see here, but there's a little slit here, and then there's a hole. And that's where your air comes in and out. And then, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a little groove here. I don't know, it looks like, that's probably why it was so tough to get out. It looks like somebody might have put in there. I don't know what it is, but anyway, these are, let me see, let me get this off here. This comes off, and like I say, these two pieces, the top and the bottom, are interchangeable. Or are they? No. But anyway, this piece here, this should be turned around this way. And then I guess on some of them, there must have been a little pin. I don't know, but there is a little indent down there for something one time. But anyway, when this goes back in, this pin's supposed to be on top and it was on the bottom. And then this is where that O-ring was, and the O-ring goes there to seal it. And then when this goes down in there, that just guides it. So this was actually in wrong. I don't even know how it was moving as much as it was. All right, so before I clean it, I'm going to take these vanes out. Sometimes they're round on one side, sometimes they're not. These both look flat. So, let me get us another little bucket here. Did you notice how I brought two out? Alright, I'm going to clean them vanes up. You know what? I think I bought this from a flea market and it didn't work. And then what I did is I put some Aerocoil in there and it loosened up. And that's how we got it to buzz. So all the bearings seem good. Alright, see, I took this apart so I knew how it goes back in. But I think there's a diagram online I'm going to look. Alright, this has a hole in the bottom, so the hole they have goes towards the bottom, and then you got a little woodruff key there. Alright, like I said, I don't think it matters about these going top or bottom, but we'll put the ones that came out. You know what I noticed? Some bearings are hard to get out and others aren't. These here came right out. So, alright, let's clean this mess up. Get this thing shining like a new penny. Alright, that was more for me than you, so I know how to put it back together. But I pretty much already know. Alright, we cleaned all this up. I didn't anticipate going into this. I was just going to change the air valve just so it worked. I didn't know this thing was all put together wrong and stuff like that. So. Let's put it back together, you know. Bearings are still good. So, let's see this. This will go on thusly. Then we'll get this, put this on here. You see, that's loose. Them bearings are supposed to, that's really sloppy. I'm surprised it's like that. Oh well, that's the way it's going back. And we got to put our woodruff key in. My hand in that frame here. Let me slide over a little bit. Yeah, the woodruff key just sits in there. goes in. Line up with the woodruff. There we go. And I think this one in. Or did it? No, this one on. No, this one on. Here you go. Been a long time. Alright, this is where you got to make sure it goes on right. This little pin, this little titty up here, goes this way. So when you put it in, it fits in that slot. Alright, so that goes in that way. Now you want to put your air vanes in. There is no front or back to these. Like I say, sometimes some of them do have front and back. This one don't seem to. And then this went on, and our bearing went on. Then our little circlip. I bet you thought I lost it, right? I didn't. See if we can squeeze that on there. Alright. Should have got some needle nose. Okay. Alright, see how nice that spins now? Wasn't the case before. And then don't forget your O-ring. Goes in there nice. And then like I say, this was so tough to get out because they had this in backwards, and they must have hit that on a hammer or something. I don't know. Because this here is just supposed to, if you put it in straight, it should just slide in. Thusly. Alright. I wanted to, let me get that out of there. I wanted to put some oil on that. Oh man. Let me get that out of there. I wanted to put some oil on that bearing before I put it in the, the top bearing before I put it back in there. So let me pull it out again. Alright. Yeah, I really didn't have to do that because when you oil this thing, oil gets into everything. But I just wanted to put a little bit of oil in the bearing like this one here. That's all I did. You know, like I say, you didn't have to because once you put oil through here and everything gets oiled. All right. Now we're going to get down to the real reason we started this, because our trigger was bad. Now let me show you what originally went in there. This is from another one I took apart. All right, this here's your muffler, and your muffler goes in like this, and then you twist it in place, and it holds in there. But my hands are all slippery now from the oil. But anyway, see this spring here is stuck to this piece of plastic, and what's supposed to be on there, I don't know if you can see it, but this is all deteriorated. This was all gummy. So this here is, where you at over here? Yeah, this here would go in a hole. And then let me get the old one out here. Then this is the plunger, and the plunger would just go in the top here, and the spring, the muffler would hold the spring there, and when you push this down, it would just push this little rubber thing away from the hole. But you can't get that anymore. So let me get this out of the way here. So what you got to do, like I say, this was a 312. Now, all I was able to get was a 312A, which is a new modernized one. And you're going to have to modify it. Dump all this stuff out here. Most of this stuff you're not going to use. Like this here, this must be on a newer one. This one don't have it. That O-ring. Am I in a frame here? Alright, so you're not going to need this O-ring. You're not going to need that there. I'm not going to need this. I'm going to reuse the brass one. But here, remember I was telling you about the hole? Look at the size of the hole on that bitch. And then this one is half the size. So we're going to go with the brass one. More horsepower. But anyway, this is the newer plunger. And what this is, it goes in this way, and the plunger, instead of being two pieces, is one piece. And you got these O-rings here. It got 4 O-rings. And these circlips are, they actually go on the side here. They replace some other ones. They're tough to get off them snap rings. Anyway, like I said, you got 4 O-rings here, and one is different. One is a little fatter, and that one goes on here. And you got to push it all the way down there until it comes down to here. So let me put that on there, and then I'll turn these back on. Alright, I got that O-ring down. You got to slide over the top here and past the hole. There's another little hole there, and then here's the Ian frame there. Goes over this right here. That's like a tapered piece there, and that's what's going to give you your seal. And this is actually going to go in from the bottom. You see, like the other one you can put in from the top. This one you can't because you have that piece there on the bottom, so it has to go in through the bottom here. But here's the problem, and here's where you're going to have to modify. You can either drill that hole out a little bit or make this plunger a little smaller. And I chose to make the plunger smaller than to mess up the housing here. But it's not that far off. Alright? You're looking at this. I don't know how you're going to see this, if you're going to see it at all. But let's see what this is. And that's like 19 thousandths. Is that how you read that? And this one is like 21 thousandths. So, like I said, I chose to whittle this down rather than to drill that out. So let me show you how I ground that down. Alright, here's what I did. I just got a drill and put this in. Almost put it in while I was turning the wrong way. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, then I got some 220 sandpaper and just wrapped it around there. And look, see how shiny it is already? Alright, just a little bit. You see it came off. So you just work that till it comes down to what you need. If you can grab that. There you go. And it seems like you're not getting anything off, but look at all that metal that came off already. So it's going to take about five minutes to do that. And you don't need a micrometer to keep checking it. You know, you can just put it in here and just keep trying. You don't want to make it too big though. You don't want to take too much metal off. You want that just to fit in there. So, all right, let me keep working on that until we get enough metal off to make it work. And then we'll turn these back on, alright? Alright. Alright. I got mine whittled down. You guys do that? You can just stick it in here and check it. Don't go in from the top, but just check it for size, and if it goes in, then it's going to work. Then what happens is it goes in from the bottom, like I say, and then where the springs go? Here you go. The springs are hidden. I'm going to use the new spring. You can use the old one if you want. The new spring is a little stiffer. And if you do use the old one, make sure you get all the old rubber crap out, or else it's going to bind up on you. But anyway, the tapered end, the small end goes in, and then this goes in. Right? We're just trying over size now. And you put the muffler in. You just push that in, and it should work. You can try it on for size, but we're not going to put it in right now. We've got to do other stuff before we put that back in. Stuff to grab. So Alright, let's start putting this back together, and what I'm going to do is, like I said, instead of using this new shaft with the smaller hole, I'm just going to put this one back in. So I already did it, but put your O-rings on here, your new O-rings, and then to help it go in a little bit, just going to put a little bit of lubrication on here. Alright, that's one less part we're going to have to worry about. And it doesn't really matter which end this goes in first. I'm just going to tap it in. That tells you right there how nice and tight the O-rings are. Alright, and even you could put the new circlips on there, but I'm going to put the old clip on there, the old spring clip. So that may take me a couple of minutes, so let me dig around with that, and then I'll turn you back on when we go further. Alright, we're ready to put the gasket on, and if you're using the same gasket, make sure you put it on the same way it came off, because they're sort of indented. Alright, that goes on. Now your little plunger goes in, and then your spring, it's a tapered spring, the small end goes in. Make sure it goes over the titty, and then when your muffler goes on, make sure it goes over that titty. Okay, and then just push it in. Alright, make sure your gasket's lined up. And then this goes in, this big square hole towards the back. That's for the muffler. And then, I forgot to look, but I think the long ones went in the back. You are correct. There are no lock washers on this, so don't be looking for them. Alright, I'm going to shut you off and tighten this down here because my battery's getting low. So we'll see when we tighten that down. Alright, we're ready to put the counterweight on. Now if you recall, it has a hole in the side here. You can't see it because I gotta see it. And I had this lobe turned down. Now the holes are perfectly straight, and I had the counterweight to the bottom. If we remember that. Now you want to get that long screw and stick that into the side here, and you might have to lift this counterweight up. And there you go. Try and find a hole. Alright, I'm going to send this all the way home. Only because this is a good time to see if it works, right? Why continue putting it together if something wasn't right? So let me see if I can find some air. Oops. Alright. Let's see. Testing 1, 2. I'm going to push this thing down. It's actually hard to push down with your thumb. Alright, we're working. You also got your throttle here. You know, for you guys that don't like to use full power and everything. So, I'm going to turn that up just for testing purposes. Alright, let's continue putting it together. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this out. Remember how we backed it out before? So it would hold itself. Alright, what that does, that'll hold that shaft in place. So you can put this. I don't think there is a front and a back to this. And then you stick that on there. And then you find your flathead screw here and your lock washer. You put that there. We'll tighten that down. You don't want to get too crazy with these because these are small screws. But then you do want to get it tight because You don't want it to vibrate loose. Alright. I don't think there was any kind of Loctite on it. I ain't saying anything like that. Alright, well, we're up here. Might as well put this on, right? Yeah, I left my 4 screws in here. And you got your rubber feet down here. So, I'm going to line these holes up here as best I can. And then tighten this down. Put the screwdriver here. Alright. I'm going to put this pad on. Like I said, my battery's getting low, so I don't want to lose you guys. So I'll turn you back on after I screw that down. Alright. I got my pad on. I tightened it all up, and I think I forgot to tell you is to tighten up that screw. You tighten that screw up on the back that holds the counterweight on. So make sure that's tight, or else it's not going to spin. I lost it. It's spun, so I got to rotate that thing and tighten it. That's good. I'm glad that happened. So make sure you tighten that before you put your pad on, or else you're gonna have a tough time finding it again. I'll find that, but it's gonna take me a couple minutes. You see, if the pad ain't on, then you can tighten. Well, yeah, after you tighten that, you put the counter pad on, stuff like that. So tighten that before you put the pad on. Alright, ready to put the little palm handle on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start one side here. With my little hammer. Okay. Get the one side started till it's all just about flush there. And then this side, I'm going to stick in with this so we can see it. Alright, that gets it close. That way you can wiggle and jiggle this one in. And that gets it even pretty close for you. And then you put this side in. You turn it so you guys can see that. Alright. Alright, our handle's in. There we go. Now you got to put our bumper on. There is a top and a bottom to this. See, it's got the little notches taken out here. That's so you can get a screwdriver on your throttle. All right, let's put that on. That's just 4 screws. That's it. No extra parts. All right, let me put that on, and it'll turn you back on. All right, we got it all back together. We got the bumper back on, and time to go for a test ride. First, I'm going to put some oil in it. Usually just put a drop a day in, but since this thing's bone dry, it's all clean, I'm going to give it about 5 drops or so. Let it work its way through there. Let me see if I can find the airline here. Alright, yeah, I just wanted to change the valve in there for the handle, but it didn't. I hope it helps somebody. I didn't mean to get into the whole thing, but hey, sometimes that happens, right? Oh, look at that. No leaks, no nothing. That's good. Good sound. Alright, ready? You guys ready? Oh, there you go. You don't always have to run these balls to the walls, you know. I mean, it does. That's why it has that throttle on the side here, so. It's plenty fast there. If you want a little faster, a little bit more. Alright, so there you go. I hope that helps somebody. like I say, I mean, Ingersoll Rand made these for dozens of companies, so if you have an older one, you can modify it with the new plunger, and it'll work just fine. And if you can find the old one, I couldn't find the old one. I would have just replaced that rubber ball. It would have been fine. But I'm happy with this. So what do you guys say? Enough of this? All right. See you in the next one.